Hello, today I'd like to do a tutorial on how to contour your face. So basics of contouring. What is contouring? So I've applied foundation on my face and it looks very monotonous. Everything looks the same color. There is a high cheekbone, but you can hardly notice it. My jaws are not defined, and my nose, you can see the little bit of a bend on my nasal bone. So what contouring does basically is if face is a canvas and foundation is the painting, this gives you dimension. So basically you add contour to enhance your positive features. In my case, it's my high cheekbones and my jawline. But if you have things like a crooked nose, like in my case, I would use that to sort of straighten that out, slightly giving a line on it. Gives that feeling that it's all straight and sharp. I also use it to narrow the bridge of my nose. I do contour my forehead as well, although narrow foreheaded people generally don't contour. I do because I like that shadow. I tend to prefer cream contour. They're easy to work with and they're easily blendable. I also use a contour that is 1 or 2 shades lighter, darker than my skin, because you don't want really sharp contouring unless you're going for an underpainting, which is apply the contour and then apply the foundation. I tend to go 1 or 2 shades darker. This one I'm going to use is a little bit more darker than that because I'm going to use something that has got bronzer and contour 2 in 1. This is a very good product from Revolution Pro and it suits the warm skin. So basics of contouring: you contour your forehead, as I said, you contour on your cheeks. So I have seen people applying it here where there is that just underneath your burn. I tend to apply it, since I am in my 40s, just on that edge, so slightly above that, just there, because it gives you a lifted look. Now if you want to contour horizontally, the guideline is the tragus, just above the tragus of your, this is the tragus, just above the tragus of your ears, and then you can either bring it upwards to give the lift and then go downwards to give that a narrowed down definitive cheek. I don't do that because I think this is reasonable and I already have a sunken cheek, so I don't bring it down. I tend to bring it slightly upwards, and then here, instead of going horizontal to my tragus, I tend to go this way where the natural shadow right now is. This is because the temple of my cheek has shifted from here. If you look at my daughter's face, who's 19, it sits here. Mine, whereas it's slightly here. This is from the drooping that you experience as you age. And then you contour your jaw, so that you contour. I don't contour it right under. I contour just on this boundary and then slightly bring it up and then go down. And then I stop it here. So I want that sharp jaw. Now, when you contour your cheek, you don't want to go beyond this point. So I can see where is that natural bone sits. I stop there so it doesn't pull my face downwards. For nose contouring, I use a sort of a narrowing down technique, coming towards the center and then focusing this tip of my nose as the highlighted area. So we're going to start doing that so you can see more of what I do. So this is the Revolution Pro Contour and Bronzer. I start with my forehead. I go a slight line, so I don't go very harsh line because I want it to blend it easily. And I go on my nose. I also go into the under the eyebrow area because I like to give that natural shadow, then a sudden abrupt beginning of a shadow, and then I come to the center of my nose and then I do that, and sometimes I go to the sides as well. For the cheeks, so this is I go not in the shade, just above it, and then start from there and go upwards. The right way to do is, because you want more products, is from top to come down. So you don't want to go it too high. Because this is a bronzer, that's why I'm doing it this way. But generally you leave it slightly higher and going upwards. So that's how you contour. Basically you can then connect this together. And for the jaw, I make a dot there, and then can you see it's just in the boundary give a slight lift here. The same thing on this side as well. I think I've run out of contour. This needs very little product, and it's like a dupe of the Charlotte Tilbury and much cheaper, works well. So it's going, and then slightly, can you see the difference it makes? If you want to narrow your face, you can also go on the outer boundaries like this. I do sometimes when I want, depending on what I wear, what's the look I'm going for, I do that. Then I take a dense bronzer and contour brush, or the other alternative is to take one of this. I'll use this one because I just want to, you don't want to move the product, you just want to press it in. You don't want to go away from where you have applied it. So I just then go blend, 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 blend. That's why you use a dense brush. This is not as dense, but it does the job well as well. So if you've not applied too much of product, this is a sufficient. And I go into my hairline, so there is no gap between the contour and the hair. That is the last thing you want. So then I press it all in. Can you see the blending is what makes or breaks it. If you don't blend your contour well, you're going to look like you've got a rash on your face, or you've got tan in unwanted places. So blending it in, I will go for the jaw, the bigger brush, because otherwise it's going to take a lot of time. And I just go blend, 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 blend. Because this is the lighter areas, and you will be applying concealer there. I've not still applied my concealer, which is the last step after the blush. And then I just press the product in. Can you see how my face is starting to look already narrower? You can see when you look at it, the shadows create a more narrow face, which is what we are going for. One day I want to do a tutorial in my language, and I'm terrified because my Malayalam is not good. I have only lived in India till I was 17, and then I had a couple of years after I graduated that I lived there, and while I licensed myself as a doctor in India. Otherwise, I've not lived in India at all. So my Malayalam is not good, which is not something to be proud of. My daughter speaks, my son does not speak Malayalam, which is something I'm sad about. So I take a dense brush, a smaller one, and then press the product in. So you don't want the product to come in the middle of your face. So the key is you don't want any lines, sharp lines that kind of brings abruptly either, and this takes time. So take your time when you do this. I've used my Australis palette for my eye and the L'Oreal Paris Infallible gel eyeliner for my eyes. On the lip, I've used the Milani Cosmetics red lip in the shade 340 Poppy. So this is how I contour my nose, and it's basically blending it all in, which I do take a long time to do. This is not something that you can do just quickly and walk away. For that, you might want to use the She Glam pen. It does not give a good coverage, and it often does disappear, so I only use it when I don't have time. So then I take my NYX Can't Stop, Won't Stop. I don't anymore apply concealer onto my face directly. I take a dense brush, smear the brush and completely saturate it with the concealer, and then I just go where I want to go, rather than putting dots and then struggling to blend it all in. So this is basically where I apply concealer, and then I go, and I did not realize I did not record. I was talking and talking, and I realized I hadn't recorded. So this, can you see this? I just go here, and then I kind of, this is what creates that narrowing of the nose. Can you see this part here? So apparently my interest for makeup started when I was 2 years old. I smeared myself with my mom's foundation. We only used to get one brand of foundation then when I was young. This was in the 1970s, and I apparently smeared myself completely with her foundation, and I did get smackings for that. And I have also done makeup for my aunt on her wedding, even though I was not skilled, not trained, no idea, but I used to play a lot with makeup. I remember all my life I was interested in. When I was going through medical school, I used to make it a point. The Russian girls were stunning, and they used to do their makeup so beautifully, all so skilled in what they do. And I learned makeup, a lot of that from them, from my mates. And then I applied it on my face. But even when I came in the beginning of my career to Australia, you could not find brown skin friendly shades. So it was a bit of a struggle. I had to wait to go to India. Even then, dark skinned people struggled to get their shades in India as well. It was never a match. It was either too yellow or too gray, and there is no way you could have applied that. So it was a bit of a struggle. It was only in maybe from 2018 that it became more like a thing. So I then use my hand to sort of blend this out a little bit, and then I will powder this. So that's what we are going to do. So in terms of powdering, I am using my yesterday's technique of mixing purple eyeshadow with my white translucent powder, and all I powder is wherever I've applied the concealer. I don't like heavily powdered face, but powder does make it very, very set, and it doesn't make it oily in the areas I've applied concealer, and also it does not crease. So it removes a little bit of the shine in my oily areas of my face, neutralizing the yellowness of the concealer. And this is the places that I applied my concealer. So that's it. That's basically the only places. And I go here as well. So you can remember I applied my concealer in these areas as well. So that is pretty much my powdering. And whatever is left on it, I might go in this space. This is not as important. Never creases there for me. And I will take a brush that is much lighter to kind of just blend it all in. So you can see my nose contouring. Oh shucks, I had blue on my hand. I had to remove the purple off my nose, but you can see I'm just the defined line. I don't like that. It does not look natural. So I just kind of take a brush and just blend it in, and that's pretty much it. And then I might apply a liquid bronzer if I feel that I want a little bit more of a bronzing on my face. So I use the MP Cosmetics, which is my favorite one, and then I go above to where I applied my contour, and just a little bit dabbing just in, not too much, nothing crazy. You don't want it to kind of stand out. The key is to blending it in and taking the right shade of your bronzer as well. And I might just pull that in to kind of blend it all in. Can you see that bronzer? And for the I'm using a very pale shade. This is from Heat Wave MP Cosmetic in the shade Secluded. And this is very pigmented, unlike the Rare Beauty. And I just go that much. Can you see where I'm applying the I know the boyfriend blush? I didn't like that look on me. I like a lifted look, and for my age I don't think it's very appropriate, the boyfriend blush. So I'm just going to skip that. And with this, I first use my hand because this is a very light color, and if you use a brush on this on my skin, it kind of disappears. So first I go with my hand and see how it's all blending in. And you want to blend it with the bronzer and the contour. You don't want to have separate lines on it. I'm applying a bit more because this is a very pale pink. and I will apply a little bit on the tip of my nose. This is my thing. I like that little bit of pink coming through. I don't like a Mala cheek blush. There is that Mala blush which goes well on a younger person. Not really me. That's not really something that I would apply. I think it's a bit much. And then I would blend the blush, use my finger. I think I applied too much. The warmth of the finger actually makes mistakes in makeup forgiving. This is a light color, that's why I'm applying it on the center of my nose. Otherwise, if it's a bright color, I just apply it on the tip of my nose. Once I went out without blending it in, and my son called me a reindeer. So if you apply it on the tip of your nose, you've got to blend it in. So that's my contouring, blush and bronzing technique. What do you guys think? I hope you guys liked the video. Please let me know what your thoughts are, and if you want any other parts of makeup or areas that want to be covered, I can see what I can do about it. I am no expert in makeup. This is something that I've done and learned over the years, and I've just recently taken a bit more time and learned a little bit more about it, done a bit of more research about it, because it's an area of interest and entertainment for me. Please do like and subscribe. As always, this is a request. Thank you so much for your time.